Oh, it's been a while. Time for a bit of a rant. And it concerns the state of Irish broadcasting, and I dare say it, perhaps our cousins across the water as well, in terms of standards, which, in my casual listenership stroke observant, seems to be somewhat lacking. Let me give you an example. So I've got a podcast, okay. Before you start, I'm not in broadcasting, it's not sour grapes. No, I'm coming to you as a listener and someone who was in and out of broadcasting. Putting the podcast together. And as with these things, I've got a guest lined up in a couple of days. So I decided to give the guest a kind of preempt phone call, just a little bit of chat, so what to expect, what not to worry about, what questions, etc., etc. Just to get a feel for the subject matter and guest. And during it, I say to them, look, you don't be expecting a big audience from me because it's pretty small. However, the subject matter of the paranormal is central to what we do. It's got a good following in the paranormal community in Ireland and I dare say England and the US as well. And the person said to me, don't worry about that. I've actually been on one of the largest radio stations in Dublin in the last week or two. I think it might even be national station. So I said, happy days. That makes my little bit of research and investigation all the more easier, because what I will do is, I'd say it's on podcast, is it? And I got the affirmative. I said, well, look, after this conversation, I'll put on my earpods, I'll go for a walk down Merrion Strand, and I'll listen. So it'll be able to be a fuller interview, if you like, based on the fact that somebody in one of those big stations has interviewed you. So off I take, about 3:30 in the afternoon to be precise, boys and girls, and I'm listening. What assailed my ears? It was, for a broadcaster of this person's standard, appalling. You're talking about somebody whose station is paying them, I'd say, 6 figures for many years. Now, I don't know whether there's a comfort zone reached, or some presenters believe their own publicity, but everybody should be a couple of shows away from the door. Now, obviously, well, let's just say they had an agenda, and the agenda was not to take the guest seriously. In fact, it was to ridicule, and I would dare say, entrap the guest. And it was a smart alecky attitude from the beginning, as in not taking the guest seriously, because the subject matter was paranormally a bit off beat, perhaps. So it was the smart aleck in the pub, gonna put you down kind of thing, before he even asked any proper questions, which weren't loaded. He asked those questions and they were loaded, and they were loaded with disrespect. That's what the guest was shown. Total disrespect. And let me say, if this person had have done their research, if they'd taken a brief and looked at it properly, they would have found out their guest was an academic. A learned person with letters after the name. So what? All the more interesting if the topic was, the subject matter was, as I said, unusual. Surely it further emphasised its importance that an academic would put their time and effort behind it in terms of sharing their research. Someone with letters after their name, and the guy interviewing them probably failed his fucking birth cert, right? Can't believe it. Awful. And to top and tail it off, at the very end, the listener comments were not balanced. He took the lazy way out. He took the quick laugh, the quick jibe, and took 2 derogatory comments and aired those. If I was his program manager, I've been on the receiving end, believe me, but if I was his program manager, I would have a serious word. I would say, listen, no listeners, no revenue. I don't care who you are. You're a couple of shows away from the door. How dare you treat guest, and by association, more importantly, the listener, and our revenue stream with this fucking two Johnnies in the pub kind of banter. Oh my God. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe it's my hormones. That's what it is. It's my hormones. Yeah. See ya.